Play ball! Strike! Strike!
Welcome to the way baseball works, your ticket into the fascinating inner workings of our national pastime. I'm Tim McCarver, and as your host, I'll both take you out to the ball game and into the ball game, where I'll dissect what seems to be a simple sport into its many intricate parts. For it's because these complex components function so well together that the game itself runs so smoothly, that baseball does indeed work. I'll share what I learned over 21 years in the big leagues in 5 distinct sections that you can find on the field behind me by simply moving your mouse left and right. Rolling over different areas of the field will get you an overview of the different sections and allow you the opportunity to enter them. In batter's box, you can step into our cage and try to hit some pretty tough pitches. You'll learn how to fill out a scorecard and figure out important stats in the scoring and statistics section. In the baseball strategy section, you can watch up to 30 plays of an animated game on your screen, and I'll explain what's going on in the players' minds at various points during the action. In the physics of baseball section, you'll learn what causes the ball to move as it does when thrown by a pitcher or hit by a batter. Plus, you can enter our lab and create both pitches and the bats to hit them with. And in the way baseball worked section, you can venture back through the glorious history of the sport and see spectacular images from the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Okay, you can begin your exploration now, and I'll be joining you along the way. It's not always the strongest batter who hits the ball the farthest or the biggest pitcher who throws the ball the fastest. In baseball, distance and speed are less determined by strength than, as you science majors know, by the principles of physics. Just a slight change in a pitcher's release point, grip, or delivery can cause a world of difference in the speed and movement of the ball. And if a batter alters his grip or either the style or timing of his swing in order to combat the fastball or adjust to the breaking ball, the distance and trajectory of the batted ball will change dramatically. Let me tell you something. Batters have to adjust to all sorts of pitches. I saved my own career by closing my stance. In this section, maybe you can learn how to make simple adjustments that will improve your game. In tutorials, we will explain the physics of baseball through animations and voiceovers on pitching, hitting, and the flight of the ball. To navigate, simply roll over and click on those items of interest in the menu on your screen. Use the buttons on your screen to flip between animations. This section also includes a lab where you can create and test your own bats and pitches and even set your own weather. Science can be fun, especially when it applies to baseball.
The flight of any hit ball depends on several factors: the ball's velocity, which is the sum of its horizontal and vertical components, the constant pull of gravity, the ball's spin, and the effective air resistance.
Baseball is a thinking fan's game because everything that happens on the field is the direct result of strategies developed by managers, pitchers, batters, and fielders long before they came to the ballpark. Jim Cott is right that during a game, when you think long, you think wrong. But by that time, everyone should already be prepared as to how they will react in every possible game situation. Luck is the residue of design. And believe me, smart strategy usually results in something positive, while bad strategy usually backfires in a big way. What is good strategy? Well, come join me in the broadcast booth, where you'll be able to see the role every player takes over the course of 30 plays that transpire during an animated game on your screen. From each of the 5 setup situations, you can call up 6 different scenarios, during which you can stop the action at various stages. Then click on a lit animated figure and I'll tell you what he wants to do at that exact moment in terms of strategy. You may at times call up videos that will illustrate my major points. If you pick up some strategy points in this section, you'll be better prepared the next time you take the field.
Armstrong delivers the pitch, and Kokomo swings weakly and tops the ball to the left side. It rolls slowly on the grass past the mound. Uh-oh, there's confusion over who should pick up the ball, and nobody does. There's no play, and both runners are safe. The third baseman and shortstop both hesitated because they thought the other was going to pick up the ball. I guess both Elgin and Fish just found out he who hesitates is lost. And they both look lost out there to me. Kokomo's at the plate, but Armstrong seems more concerned with Jury, who's taking a big lead off first and trying to rattle the pitcher. Armstrong knows Jury is always a threat to steal, but he shouldn't alter his motion by trying to get the ball to his catcher quicker. Here comes the pitch. No pitch. The umpire says he didn't come to a complete stop. The count is 1-1 to Bacabelli. With Elgin on third and Ingram on second and only 1 out, the Mutts infield, of course, is playing in. The pitch from LaRue. The batter squares, and here comes Elgin on the suicide squeeze. The ball rolls down the third base line. Grabs it, but he has no play. Elgin slides in safely, and the Hogs win it.
Ted Williams was the Major League's last 400 hitter. Yet even he argued that the hardest thing to do in sports is to hit a baseball. Pitcher Bob Buell even agreed. He once made a record 77 consecutive outs, if you can believe it. And while intellectual catcher Mo Berg could speak 7 languages, he couldn't hit in any of them. What about you? Are you a good hitter? Well, you can be. Here's your opportunity to venture into our batting cage and improve your batting skills against our pitcher's arsenal. If you choose, you can incorporate what you created in the physics of baseball section, including the bat you'll swing and the pitches you'll face. With the pitch command, you can have the pitcher throw a Randy Johnson velocity fastball or a Sandy Koufax caliber curve. You're having trouble making good contact? Then create an arm-weary one-pitch reliever. You can even alter the weather. So go ahead and have the wind blow out, and that might help your routine fly ball sail out of the ballpark. Good luck and good swinging.
Strike! Strike! Out! Ooh, you really smoked that one. Ooh, you really smoked that one. Out! 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 Foul ball! Out! 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 Hey, nice going. Out! 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 Ooh, you really smoked that one. Baseball fans are lucky because all they need do is study statistics to be able to deduce everything their favorite players have done over any period of time. In no other sport do statistics give such an accurate picture of players' performances. All season baseball fans have memorized certain stats and records and compare those of current stars to those of players of the past and present. Players, too, use statistics to show they deserve raises. It helps to have a 300 batting average, for instance, or 200 hits, or 100 RBIs. Or, if you're a pitcher, 20 wins or an earned run average under 3, even lower if you're a reliever. Want to get into the Hall of Fame? Well, you might have to come up with stats comparable to Hall of Fame slugger Mike Schmidt or Hall of Fame pitcher Steve Carlton, two of my former teammates. We have provided you with their full set of statistics. Simply click on any stat symbol in either chart for an explanation of that statistic. You'll learn of the origin and meaning and of the player who holds the record in that statistical category, be it homers, victories, or any of those averages and percentages that we broadcasters seem to come up with out of the blue. If you're a player at any level, you'll learn how to figure out your own stats.
According to the official rules, a strikeout shall be scored whenever 1. A batter is put out by a third strike caught by the catcher. 2. A batter is put out by a third strike not caught when there is a runner on first before 2 are out. 3. A batter becomes a runner because a third strike is not caught. 4. A batter bunts foul on third strike. Reggie Jackson holds the unflattering record with 2,597 career strikeouts. A stolen base shall be credited to a runner whenever he advances one base to the next while the pitcher is in his motion. If 2 or more runners are attempting to steal and one runner is thrown out while the others arrive safely, the others shall not be awarded a stolen base. 19th century records for stolen bases are unreliable, as they include any number of daring running plays after a base hit. It takes both speed and intelligence to be a successful base stealer, and none has been better than active player Rickey Henderson, who holds the lifetime stolen base title.
There is no more enjoyable way to learn baseball than to keep score as you watch games. And afterward, don't throw out those scorecards or notepads, because in the future, you'll want to look at all the notations you made and relive every game play by play. In this section, you will learn to keep score accurately and place the numbers and marks that represent specific plays on a scorecard on your screen. You will use the identical system employed by official scorers at major and minor league ballparks, which you'll be interested to know has evolved from the scoring system that was devised by Henry Chadwick way back in 1850. As you'll discover, it's an easy system to follow.
To score a single, draw one straight line across the box. To score a double, draw two straight lines across the box. To score a home run, draw four straight lines across the box. A shortstop is numbered 6. A first baseman is numbered 3. Thus, when recording a groundout picked up by the shortstop and thrown to the first baseman, write 6-3. If the first baseman fields a ground ball single-handedly, some scorers write 3 with a small U next to it, meaning unassisted. Strikeouts are registered as Ks. If the batter strikes out looking, reverse Ks are sometimes used. Why did Chadwick choose K? K is the last letter in the word struck.
Baseball has a long and intriguing history dating back some 150 years. The names, the numbers, the stadiums, and the events bond past and present and are reference points for both fans and players. The sport itself has both reflected American social history and impacted on it. Surely Jackie Robinson's breaking of baseball's color barrier changed the very fabric of our country. Baseball history is passed down from parents to children, from veteran players to rookies, and players from every era are either motivated by past players or haunted by their ghosts. Current stars chase cherished records of Hall of Famers and are compared to the likes of Ruth, Cobb, Aaron, Koufax, Mantle, and Mays. In 1970, the Orioles won the World Series from the Cincinnati Reds behind the miraculous fielding of Brooks Robinson, power hitting of Frank Robinson, and pitching of Jim Palmer and Dave McNally. Brooks would win 16 consecutive Gold Gloves. Frank would become the first black manager with the Cleveland Indians. Palmer would win 3 Cy Young Awards. And McNally would, along with pitcher Andy Messerschmidt, change baseball history by bringing about the end of the reserve clause, which had first been challenged in court by Curt Flood. For fans, the 1971 World Series was a showcase for the previously underrated talents of the Pittsburgh Pirates' Roberto Clemente, only a year before he tragically lost his life in a plane crash while transporting aid to earthquake victims in Nicaragua. There also was finally a true appreciation for Hank Aaron, who, despite death threats from bigots, broke Babe Ruth's hallowed career home run record. Among the great teams of the decade were the mustachioed Oakland Athletics of Reggie Jackson, Raleigh Fingers, and Catfish Hunter, who won 3 consecutive world titles before being dismantled by free agency. In fact, Jackson and Hunter would go on to lead the Yankees to 2 titles, with Reggie booming 3 home runs in the final game of the 1977 World Series. The most intimidating of all teams was Cincinnati's Big Red Machine, with Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, and the irrepressible Pete Rose. They won their first title from the Red Sox in 1975 in a thrilling series that featured Carlton Fisk's famous extra-inning homer in the 6th game for Boston. That marvelous series resulted in a burst of popularity for the entire sport. The past 16 years have seen the emergence of many future Hall of Famers and dramatic events, as well as escalating salaries, labor conflict, and so much expansion that there is now a wild card team in the playoff system. Toronto became the first Canadian team to win a World Series, and Hideo Nomo became the first Japanese baseball star to become a major leaguer. Even the baseball strike that shut down the 1994 season without a World Series for the first time since 1904 couldn't diminish our memories of Kirk Gibson and Joe Carter ripping game-winning World Series homers. Carter's being the first since Bill Mazeroski's in 1960 to end a World Series. And we can't forget that exciting night when Pete Rose broke Ty Cobb's career hit record, or when Rickey Henderson, Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens, and others broke supposedly unbreakable records. Most amazingly, perhaps, Orioles shortstop Cal Ripken Jr. passed Lou Gehrig by playing in his 2131st consecutive game in 1995. Also giving baseball a much-needed lift in '95 was another classy guy, Mike Schmidt, who became the first player whose career began after 1970 to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Baseball was effective escapism from the Depression, and fans turned on the radio to listen. There was so much to excite them in the 30s. An entire league batted .300 in 1930. The Yankees in athletics had extremely potent offenses. But if it was hustle that you wanted, you followed the St. Louis Cardinals, who in the mid-30s were known as the Gas House Gang. Young pitcher Bob Feller joined Cleveland and set numerous strikeout records with his 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Remarkably, the Reds' Johnny Vandermeer threw consecutive no-hitters. The ever-popular Babe Ruth added to his legend by calling a home run in the 1932 World Series against the Chicago Cubs. Also, he was the first to homer in the All-Star game in 1933, before retiring in 1935 with a record 714 career home runs. But Lou Gehrig and youngster Joe DiMaggio continued to carry the Yankees to pennants. Gehrig set many batting records, but would best be remembered for playing in 2,130 consecutive games before retiring because of a fatal illness. His emotional farewell speech would both inspire and sadden the nation. The next month, he was on hand when the Hall of Fame was dedicated in Cooperstown, New York. The first inductees were Ty Cobb, Honus Wagner, Christy Matheson, Walter Johnson, and Babe Ruth. Gehrig's name would join theirs soon after his death.